Hey Jasmine, how are you? Hey IJ, you're first on my list today, and we're not doing free reads tonight, so I'm ready to get started on yours whenever you're ready. Thank you, Jasmine. I got it. You're going to be right after IJ, okay? Since the sis has added you and watching, what does she think of what she has discovered so far? Let's see. So I don't know if this is how she would phrase it, IJ, but this is the tone, the idea of the message, and this is how I would explain it. She is viewing you as someone who has a very good masculine feminine balance. Now, masculine feminine is usually vernacular used in the spiritual world. So I don't know if that would be her phrasing. She might say that I can tell he's very in touch with his feminine side, but also his masculine side, and feeling like there's very obvious elements to you that are, I guess, what's the word? Attractive. So for instance, you might have this life force and this very overall masculine energy, but the things that you're posting are very thoughtful and insightful and enlightening, meaning that you're tapped into that introspective side, which is generally a feminine attribute. So you're very benevolent and compassionate, and she's viewing you a little bit as a networker or a sharer of information. So you might encourage social awareness. You might encourage empathy. You might encourage self-reflection, things like this. So she feels like you're a light bearer of information, if that makes sense. I'm not sure because I haven't been to your page or anything, so I don't really know like as far as like your following, if it's like big or small or micro, max, whatever. But I feel like she feels like you have something important to say. And that the things that you have to say are more for the greater good, more like Aquarian type stuff, more like progressive type stuff. It's more about serving your own greater good, your individual greater good, but also the greater good of people as a whole. And it's not for personal gain. It's basically like thought-provoking stuff. She might look at you as a bit of a philosopher. I think that she would see why N is compelled towards you, like drawn to you, attracted to you, etc. I think that you are someone who thinks outside the box, so she might be viewing you as someone who's very original. You are not going to. You said that tracks. You are not going to like conform. I think that you have your own individual and original thought process. And so that allows for her to see that you're not going to just be a follower. You're more of like a leader, more of like a standout. Let's see. Like you have this like protective energy is what she would say. She doesn't view you as arrogant. She just views you as someone who's open-minded and a free thinker. And there could be like elements to your content or what it is that you're sharing that makes her feel like you're not very controlling. You know what I mean? Like you're not the type of person that's going to demand something, demand affection, demand attention, demand like you're not trying to control and like bring people in to like feed your ego. You are more in the place where you're just trying to be, show up authentically and be yourself. And I think that that's radiating through your social platform. You said you like that. Let's see. And another thing that she would say is that you don't come across superficial. You seem like a lover, not a fighter. And that whatever it is that you pursue is with intention, not just temporary, not for the sake of it in the moment, not for instant gratification. Like you're really, really genuine and sincere. And those are the things that she would say. I don't know if that's exactly how she would word it, but that's the general tone and energy. Is there anything else you wanted to add on for before I move on to the next person? You're welcome, IJ. So I would just say, like, keep being you. Only post what is important, matters, or speaks to you. Because if her impression so far is this good, then you want to kind of stay on that track and just keep doing what you're doing. Because she might be the type of person that can read into things if they don't seem genuine. Not that you would do that, but she likes what she sees so far. All right, so next up is Jasmine for a BOGO. You were conditionally approved for the new space. Oh, it was conditionally approved? I'm concerned because I didn't see this coming. I'm even thinking about looking at a place. Conditionally approved? I've never heard of that before. Hey, Amy. Hey, Techie. Should I still try to speak with them tomorrow regarding conditional approved? So the one that we have a really good feeling about, that's the one that's conditionally approved. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit just because you're supposed to move in this weekend. And I'm like, how is it conditionally approved if you're supposed to move in this weekend? And I'm wondering what happened between then and now. There must be some kind of like missing information that they need from you or something. Techie, I got your mini donation. You are going to be next after Jasmine, and I'm working on Jasmine right now. Amy, I'll read your comment in just a second, okay? I'm working on a donation right now. Yeah, I understand. Okay. All right, should you still try to speak with them tomorrow? Regarding trying to get this condition approved. Should you speak with them tomorrow? Should I yes or no? Yes or no? Should you still try to speak with them tomorrow? Oh, yeah, yeah. All right, so I am getting a yes that you should still try to speak with them, um, and pursue this. I asked if this is still a divinely blessed situation. Basically, we're like spirits looking out for you, because I remember feeling that way, and I am still getting a yes, Ace of Cups. The yes that I got in terms of getting this conditional approved, I have the Eight of Wands, which is typically like means you're all clear, you don't have any blocks, there's no issues at all. But in this specific deck, there's like a storm brewing behind the Eight of Wands, meaning that there could be a little bit of a hiccup or hassle trying to get this approved. But the Eight of Wands at the end of the day still means that you're ahead of it. Okay, you're ahead of the storm. Um, so it might not even come for you. All right. It means that while things are generally clear, and maybe there's like some issues that are going on behind the scenes, typically means that this is something that you can move forward from. Hey, Margaret, welcome in. So I'm getting a yes that this is something that you should look into and basically exhaust your options to see what it is that you can do, because I almost feel like this might be the soonest place that you can move into. I have the Hierophant and the Death card, meaning that you guys will find a way to get on the same page, and that there will be a like transformation of the situation. Let's see. It's not going to necessarily hurt to look at other places, but I would wait to do that until you're able to talk to these people and figure out what it is that they still need from you, and just kind of get all the information that you can first before involving yourself in other tours and things like that. Because what you're going to want to do is just make sure that whatever this conditional is that you can meet that. Hey, Techie, yeah, you can post your question. Go for it. You're going to want to make sure that you can meet these requirements or submit the additional documentation or whatever it is that they need before like really considering going somewhere else. I'm trying to think back when I moved into our apartment. We did have to submit a lot of information. Techie, I have your question. But I'm thinking back more to when we bought our house. It was like a pre-approval, but then in order to solidify everything, there was like additional documentation that they needed, and we were working with our lender to get that. And it didn't mean that the house wasn't available to us. It just meant that in order for us to secure the loan, we had to make sure that we were providing all this additional information. Once we got our hands on that, then it was smooth sailing from there on out. That's kind of what this feels like. Obviously I can only check in with the energies that we have right now. I can't necessarily predict the future decisions of what other people will do or other people's actions. I can only do my best to kind of figure out what information I have here from tarot to support certain theories. But I do feel like this is still not like blocks. I feel like this is still an option. I don't feel like this is something that you're going to have to completely forfeit and move on from. That's not what I'm picking up intuitively. I definitely would talk to them first, because you never know. It could be like something minor. It could be something that just means like, can you submit another W-2, or can you provide this missing piece or whatever. It might not even be like that big of a thing. I just am a little confused because I still feel like I have a go for it kind of reading. So yeah, I would just get more information, figure out what they need from you. How does that count? That makes sense. I'm concerned because I don't want to live in a space where I'm not wanted. So, for my understanding, like conditional um approvals is where your like the management company or the landlord or whatever you want to refer to it wants to rent to you, but for whatever reason, in order to secure and look out for their best interests, that there may be additional information that they need from you before they can finalize that agreement. And it doesn't mean that you're not a good candidate for them, and it doesn't mean that you're not wanted necessarily. It just means that maybe they need to make sure that before they go into a contract with you, that they're looking at their best interests first. Now, from your perspective, it's important for you to look at your best interests as well. So I definitely would just have a conversation with them and gain any information that you possibly can, to figure out what it is that they're requiring and what it is they need from you, and then go from there. Because there must have been some kind of kickback or something that we didn't foresee happening, or some kind of decision that was made since we did our reading where it kind of maybe changed the course a little bit. It still doesn't look like you will have to completely walk away from this plan. But I understand it can feel a little discouraging because you're looking for green lights all the way across until you move in, and this might be a little issue. I do remember saying a couple weeks ago that when you look into a place, because you asked how your move would be, I was feeling like there might be some bumps in the road, but it's not that you wouldn't get approval, but there might be something that comes up, and this might be that. Um, I know that a little bit of that was picking up on your family trying to complicate your life, but that wasn't the only thing that I felt. So this might just be one of those things where it's just a little bump in the road. What is your next question, Jasmine? Yeah, just look into it. Just make sure that it's not something small that's really easy to provide, that you're not like completely revamping. I think that's like the message. I just don't want you to completely change all of your plans if it's like one little thing that they need, like a referral or something like simple like that. You said you're not left on open. Yeah, you're not left on red, but he's not viewed your snap story either. He might just be a busy guy. Like I remember, I've said it before, but I remember when I first started dating my husband, and like I would only be able to talk to him because we like work different shifts, and I was only able to talk to him for like an hour at a night. We would like text back and forth and stuff until like I fell asleep or whatever. But you know, he was actively pursuing me for a romantic relationship. Like we eventually got to the point where we entered a relationship like 3 months later after meeting. And I feel like that's an expectation that you can put on someone who's trying to be in a relationship with you, but maybe you guys just aren't there yet. And as long as he's not reading your messages and then like just ignoring you, I still think it'll be okay. All right, question 2. What do you see happening between me, my family, my brothers? Are being cold to me. I haven't told them I'm moving. What's happening between Jasmine and family? Brothers are being cool. His mom trying to cause problems with siblings. Mom trying to cause problems with siblings. What will happen with brothers? What will happen with brothers? All right, so Jasmine, what will happen with your brothers is that you will be able to restore this relationship with them. Um, when I say them, I don't know if I mean every single one of your brothers or if I just mean one of them. But I have here the lovers, meaning like a good connection. I have the magician, which talks about free will, and if you want it, where there's a will, there's a way. And then I also have the 2 of Pentacles. So I feel like balance will be restored with these brothers that you're having issues with. But as far as like the rest of your family, I have the 9 of Wands. And what I've said to, I think it was IJ recently, that whenever, like I've used this deck hundreds of times, hundreds of readings, but sometimes every once in a while, I will notice something new in an image of a card that I have seen hundreds of times, and I won't I won't be like, oh my god, I've seen this before. I'll be like, wow, I've never seen this specific element in this specific card. That tells me that this is important. And in this specific card, I am noticing something I've never noticed before, and that is the 9 of Wands. It's like this girl, she's completely backed up against a tree, completely backed up against a corner or a wall. She has 2 wands in her hands. It's the only forms of defense that she has left. And every single other wand, the other 7, are laying on the ground with smoke coming off of them, meaning that they no longer are able to be used to defend her. And it's kind of like the idea of the last straw. It kind of makes you feel like with your family, you are using every single defense that you possibly can, and you're down to like your last 2 defenses with them. And it's going to get to a point where you're just going to have to, like, I guess, let it go or move on. It almost feels like in this weird way, like you're being hunted. It feels like you've got these people that are just out to get you. I do feel like your mom is trying to poison your family against you. Now, what I will say is, once you're not able to be a target anymore, she will shift this over to someone else, which is really unfortunate. But she's very miserable, and she's the type of person who wants to, I guess, put other people down or damage other relationships because she's unhappy. And so when you're no longer in the picture to be picked on, she's going to find someone else. Now, that might be where you and your brothers become on common ground, because maybe that attention, that negative attention, shifts onto them. And then, because once you're out of the picture, her energy has to go somewhere. And maybe that's when your brothers will start to understand what it is you have been through, where you guys can restore that relationship. And maybe it's something that they have to go through firsthand to really understand what it is that you have experienced. I feel like you removing yourself from the equation might actually strengthen this relationship with your brothers that you may feel like you don't have at the moment. But like I said, I do think she's trying to poison them against you right now. She is trying to cause problems and issues for you. And you keep reaching out for like peace. You keep reaching, you're not even asking her for help anymore. You're like, I don't need you to help me. I'm just basically asking you to not stab me in my back, like, I know that I can't come to you for support. I can't come to you for like, a shoulder to lean on or help or anything like that. But all I'm asking is for you to stop digging this knife in deeper. And you can't even do that. So I feel like for her, it's like she's doing everything to hold you back. Again, I do think that this stems from jealousy or at minimum comparison. I feel like there's a lot that she envies you about and envies you for, and therefore wants to kind of keep you low. It's a really shitty situation, and I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. But this is why, like, we've been definitely encouraging you to get out of town, get out of Dodge, get out of that place. So there has to be like a bigger con to this. Like, there has to be a bigger plan, essentially. And I think that is that once you leave, the dynamic between her and your brothers change. And once the attention is off of you and onto them, and they become the target, then that's where understanding and common ground will be between you and your brothers. And therefore, they're going to probably follow suit. They're probably going to be like, wow, like, I know what she's been through, or I can see it firsthand now. And I've experienced it firsthand. And therefore, I need the guidance of my sister. I need her to tell me what to do, what she did. Because I just don't think your mom's going to let up. I really don't. I think because you're the daughter, like, it would be worse for your brothers if they were girls, just being honest. I think that your mom just has this, like, deep-rooted jealousy that she has a hard time with. And I think it's specifically because you're a woman. That's okay, Jasmine, because your youngest brother, once he is put through the ringer by your mom, once he's put into a position where now she's targeting him, you will be redeemed. And, that might take years and years. That person, you're on your own timeline. Your brothers are on their own timeline. You've been dealing with this for your whole life. It might take a while. But I do think that, and like I said, at least one of the brothers that you have an established relationship with, you will be able to reconcile that with them at some point. There are leaders in this world and there are followers in this world. And your youngest brother chooses to not think for himself and just follow what everyone else is doing because it's easier and it's what he's been demonstrated. And unless and until your youngest brother is able to see things for what they are and kind of pull his head out of his ass and really understand what's going on here, if he's just going to get spoon fed one perspective and one narrative, then of course he's going to not like you. So he needs to grow up and mature and realize that there's not always one side of the story. And unless and until that happens, you're going to be dealing with that with him. I feel like you have enough history and struggle that you literally could write a book about this. Maybe that would be the whole point, that you can share your story. And maybe that's why you went through this. You never know. Podcast, social media content of how to survive a narcissist or a sociopath, survivor's guide, just sharing your story and things like that. I think this is not something that, everybody deals with, but it is probably a lot more common than we realize. And I think that your story could help other people. So just try to think of it at one point or another that maybe this is all for a reason and you can't see it yet, but this is, you'll find out one day why you're going through this. Honestly, it's an outage sight of mine for these people. Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind. Yep. I do not think you'll be able to redeem / restore / fix the relationship between you and your mom. I think that's too far gone. You and your stepdad, that's too far gone. You and your stepbrothers, that's too far gone. The only hope that you have is with your actual brothers. Is there anything else you wanted to donate for, Jasmine, before we move on to the next person? Yeah. What's the expression? Boys are like buses, there's always another one coming. Just don't stress it. We as women, we're supposed to attract, not chase. So don't put all your eggs in his basket. Don't worry about it. Don't care that he hasn't reached out to you, because if he wants to, he will. If he wants to see you, he will. I would just maybe easier said than done, but when you have the perspective that I do, you don't want to waste time on people. Don't worry about it. I do have one more, but I can be added towards the end of the list. It's up to you because I do up to 3 readings in a row, and technically this would be your 3rd reading. And Techie, I think, is asleep. She left her question with me. So, and she's the only other one that I have on my list right now. So, Amy, that's the thing about the BPD that I do get a little concerned about. And granted, I'm not a medical professional, but I know someone very dearly that suffers from the same thing that you do. And ever since her BPD meds and everything has balanced out, she feels like a completely different person. She's let go of control. She's let go of worrying. She's let go of caring what other men or people think about her. She's just like, whatever will be, will be. And I know that's something you struggle with BPD, is just not being able to let something go and hyperfixating on certain situations, and needing like that extra reassurance and stuff. But that's what worries me about your BPD, is I want to make sure that your meds are balanced, because I think that if they are, then you shouldn't be feeling this way. Yeah, I get that. No, Amy's not on the list tonight. So, Jasmine, did you want to get started? You can't wait to get to that spot. You hope you get there. You're definitely a little better with medication than unmedicated. Yeah. Well, there is definitely a way to get to that point of being balanced. And if you ever know or ever feel that things are starting to come unhinged a little bit, then I think you just go back and you readjust. But I know BPD is very hard, because it's like you become almost like obsessive and like paranoid in a way, and you like hyperfixate on certain things, and until those feelings are validated for you, you have trouble. And like it's also like this thing that like cycles through your mind, and you like overthink everything. And let's just say you heard from Dominic tonight, you would feel better for the night, but then tomorrow, if you didn't hear from him, you would be back in the same place. And that's why I was saying, like, needing a person, being in a relationship with someone who understands that you need extra reassurance would be very valuable to you. But the thing is that where you and Dominic stand right now, it's not a relationship. And so you have to keep reminding yourself of that as well. Jasmine, that sounds good. So an in-depth reading, and I'm ready for your question whenever you are. Will you be able to move in this weekend? Okay, I will check for you. New beds you're on right now, trying to see how it works for you. Yeah, it's gonna be trial and error, and then what something might works for you for a little while, and then you might have to adjust again in like 6 months. So it's gonna be a work in progress. That's how I feel about my thyroid meds. It has to be adjusted all the time, and like every 3 months it has to be reanalyzed and readjusted. And if my thyroid is not under control, it really like puts me in a weird place mentally. So I kind of understand what you're going through. All right, Jasmine says, will I be able to move? I'm getting a yes. I have the Nine of Cups, which means wish fulfillment. 10 of Cups, happy endings. We have the Queen of Wands, which is you, the Leo energy. The Hierophant is coming through again, stating that you guys find a way to get all on the same page. It doesn't feel like delays. Hun, can you yell at Bodhi? Because he's jumping on Gunner's back again. Thank you. Bada bing, bada boom. You're almost at the home stretch is kind of what I'm picking up. You have the strength. We have the strength card, meaning like literal strength, but also it means that you are able to use your influence to bend things to your will. It's kind of hard to elaborate on a yes no question, but if you have like a related question, I can pull a couple more cards for you if you want me to. But if not, then that's what I have. 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. 10 of Cups, happy endings. You sent me a DM. Let me see. So lovely. I can do offline spicy. I wasn't advertising that, but since I'm gonna be signing off here soon anyways, I can just do that right after the live stream. But I am gonna be closing my list here in the next like 5 minutes. All right, you said, thank you. I have no more questions. You're welcome, Jasmine. So tomorrow, I'm not going to be working. I'm going to be off for sure tomorrow. So Jasmine, make sure that you keep me posted on how that goes for you. Maybe when I see you again on like Wednesday or Thursday, let me know at that time, because I'm really curious and I'd love to stay up to date on the situation for you. Yeah, that sounds great. Amy, were you planning on donating tonight or were you going to hold off? He said, yeah, it will be a journey. Yeah, it's gonna take some time, but I promise you, once you're able to get those meds regulated, I really feel like you're gonna feel so much better just about things in general. You said, oh, I'm coming up as a Leo. You're not a Leo. That might be Techie that I'm thinking of. But the Leo energy, that's the Queen of Wands, Jasmine, that's like confidence and feeling empowered, like the strength card. You had both of those Leo energies coming through, which means you have the spotlight. Like things are going your way, you're getting what you want. There was multiple cards indicating that you get what you want. So I really feel like we're still on the up and up here, Jasmine. With those cards in mind. All right, Jazz. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and I will see you next time. Lovely sending now. Perfect. I got you. So, Lovely, you're wanting first person messages, right? You're welcome. Not tonight. That's okay, Amy. No worries, no worries. Before I close the list, I just wanted to double check. You know I'm not stressed about it. You're welcome, Amy. I feel for you, and I'm so sorry that you're going through this. I think during this time, while you're, balancing things out, it might be better for you anyways, just to kind of take it slow in that department until you feel good about where you are. And once you start to feel those feelings of security and confidence and things like that, then maybe you could entertain a romantic relationship. I just know how much of a toll that kind of diagnosis can take on someone, and it's difficult. And the other thing too is it's hard on the other person that's pursuing someone with that diagnosis. Like if Dominic were to get in a relationship with you, for example, it would be really hard for him. It would feel like a lot of pressure for him. The amount of encouragement and reassurance and conversation and all of that stuff that would be required for you to feel safe in the relationship. And it's not easy on either person. So, just slowly build that friendship, and you never know what's going to happen. And then you asked me earlier about pet insurance. I don't know. I don't have pet insurance. Unfortunately, we do have to take everything out of pocket if we have to take our cats to the vet. And they're still so young. We've only had to do that a couple of times. So I'm not sure. I have done readings on pets. It's not very often, but I have done it in the past before. All right, next up on our list is Techie, and that is going to be the last reading of the night outside of Lovely, which I'll do offline readings for her. And I'm going to be signing off. I wish I had more time, but I do not. All right, Techie, if you're here, please check in. If not, we're going to go ahead and get shuffling here in a minute for you. And then I have officially closed the list, guys. So you're trying to see if having pet insurance would be cheaper. So we went to a clinic to get our cats neutered. And let me look it up. Hold on. They offer like low cost spay and neuter options. And I think it was very affordable. I think it was like, actually, I don't remember. I just remember thinking, oh, wow, that's pretty affordable. Hold on. Let me see. And I think because we had boys, it was a little cheaper too. $50 is what it was. So look up low cost spay and neuter clinics in your area. And you might find something that's like pretty affordable. like a nonprofit pet care clinic or a low cost spay and neuter, etc., etc. Okay, wait. So there's something called Humane Ohio, Amy. Humane Ohio is what it's called. Let me put the link here for you. It looks like if you have a stray, it's $30 per cat. I think when you're live next, I might ask about my cats, which I need to send you pics. I got a mom and a little baby son. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, you're welcome. If you own the cat, they do say it's $90. So just make sure they know they're strays. If you end up taking them in or whatever after the fact, then that's fine. But they also have like additional things that they offer. It says that the spay and neuter price includes vaccine and ear tip, and that you have to bring them in a trap if you're going with this stray or feral option. Otherwise, it's $90, and there might be like other options as well that aren't so bad. So just do some research on like low cost or like nonprofit, etc., etc. Okay. Oh, they're very cute kitties. Calico and a tabby. That's cute. All right, Amy, I'm going to go ahead and move on to this last reading of the night, and then I'm going to be signing off. So good luck with that search of yours. All right, this is going to be for Techie. Have a good night, Amy. All right, Becky says, what do you see for my love life in October, December? Oh, the lovers almost came through. The lover signifies a choice that you have to make, but it usually indicates a good and compatible match. You have someone returning to your life in October to December. That might be that person you ask about sometimes. Six of Cups talks about reunion, a person in the past coming back. We have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius energy here. That could be the season, like the time of year, or it could be the type of person. You have the Three of Pentacles, so third party energy. You also have the Chariot saying, am I going this way or that way? Techie, I don't think the energy has changed too much. I think that you are still making a choice between two people. And the Three of Pentacles is talking about like third party energy. So that's indicating that you're like making a choice between two people. Techie, if you want to scroll back maybe like a minute or two, I just got started on yours. But like I was saying I don't think the energy is much different for October to December. I think we're still tapping into the same plan for you. Very heavy Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. Nine of Pentacles shows hard work paying off, or like everything you've been through so far leading you up to a life-defining moment in your love life. see. Anything else she should know? Anything else she should know? Wish fulfillment. Okay, so because the Lovers didn't actually come out of the deck, I'm still inclined to believe that you are not officially in a relationship before the end of the year, but I do think you have some contenders, and I do think that there is someone that will be close to you entering a relationship with them maybe in the beginning of next year. I feel like in October and December, or October through December, you're really having a lot of fun dating both of these people at the same time. And you kind of don't want the fun to end. Like, you're really enjoying like playing the field. I think that it comes to a point where you realize that you do need to make a decision. But as far as like dating and spending time with each of these people, you are really just enjoying taking your time and having fun and like getting to know these people on a new level. And I think that it's not really something that you necessarily want to end anytime soon, but ultimately you're looking for a relationship. And so I think that's something that you do eventually have to kind of sort out for yourself. Now, I remember saying before that this person that's newer versus the person that's from the past, they're very, like, the competition is strong. Like, they're very, like, on the same playing field, basically. So your interest in them both is pretty much on the same level. It's pretty balanced. So they'll be good rivals for each other, but it might be harder for you to make a decision about this. So that's what I have, Techie. Let me know if you have any questions. I am signing off after this, so I'm only going to be here for like another minute or so. Okay, you're welcome, Techie. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Get some sleep. All right, signing off, everyone. I hope you have a good night.